Hey guys, I'm here, Ganesh from Covalent. I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the CEO. I'm joined today on this session with Erik Ashdown, who's the head of ecosystem growth at Covalent. So today's session is going to be on the token metrics for Covalent. Now, we've been very thoughtful when it comes to building the product, taking the product to market, acquiring our first set of customers, and then scaling that process up. And I think we have done a pretty good job with the token metrics itself. Now, one of the issues that has come up is that we have built this metrics over a course of multiple years, and it's a reflection of our legacy at Covalent. So, the pricing and the unlock schedule, these were set at a different era in terms of crypto times. And it's not up to us because of legal contracts here. We can't re-eng on any of these contracts. And so, but we'll go on to the high level metrics. What are the different allocations for, how the unlock schedule is working, how is it going to work with CoinList, and so on. But I'm going to let Erik drive this session. Erik is having trouble with his camera, so apologies. He is a real person. It's not just a little thumbnail here. Maybe at some other point he will record a video and say hi to the community. But yeah, I'll let Erik take it away from you.
Yep, thanks, Ganesh. Apologize once again, everybody here for the camera. So the Covalent token, or CQT, is the native token of the Covalent ecosystem. How it works much differently than some other tokens that are out there. Whereas when you own CQT, you essentially own part of Covalent's revenue stream. The CQT is not a payment token. We're not using it to have people come and pay for our services. One of the main reasons why is we fundamentally as a business don't believe that scales. So for some background here of how we came up with this idea for a token model is that we were selling to enterprise customers. People were coming and they were paying us real money. There was a real profitable business. And when you're talking to enterprise customers and they're buying a service from you, they can't buy a service if the rate changes every day or every minute, right? So think about it. If every month, because of your mortgage, the price of your mortgage went up and down by 30-40%. So it just wasn't conducive to a good conversation. So we said, okay, well, we have this thing, we have this token, we need to decentralize our database. How can we do this? So the way the network will operate when it's fully functional is on the front end, it's going to be denominated in stable coins or priced in USD. So an example would be somebody wants to get data. They show up, they put USD or let's say USDC in a smart contract. And then what happens is validators from a distributed network fulfill the data. So let's say, they put the contract in, they say, I need data on Binance Smart Chain and I need data on Matic. Validators fulfill that. And then what happens is every epoch, so let's say, just say for the sake of the argument, every week there's a market buy that happens from USDC to CQT, and then it's paid out to the validators on the back end for whoever fulfilled the most transactions. So essentially, the validators are getting the same amount for every transaction. The bet that they're making as validators is that because there is a fixed cap, there is a fixed supply of CQT that will ever exist. They're gonna hold on to it, stake it, to that point, there is a fixed amount of CQT. There will never be more CQT at this venture, at this point in time that will exist. There's no intention to print more. That's a $10 billion cap that will be dispersed over the next 5 years. So at the beginning, we're obviously going to be doing some staking rewards. The staking rewards will decrease over time, but to bootstrap the network. But as network activity picks up, then what will happen is the staking rewards will die out, but it will just be royalty payments, or it will be payment rewards. So for staking your CQT, you will just get part of the payments that are being distributed through the distributed database. So people have been asking us, said, hey, is this safe? Are there problems? Is the contract fine? Are there any issues? The contracts are fine. We take security very, very, very seriously because we come from an enterprise background and we have these customers. We've already been serving customers in the space. Our smart contracts are audited by Quantic and QuantStamp and Certic. They're two of the best smart contract auditors in the space. The token, of course, is an ERC20. So standard Ethereum contract, nothing out of the ordinary. Some people have asked us, why are you using Ethereum? We've said, well, it's battle tested. It's been here for years. It works. We actually published a blog post about this a little while ago on the CoinMarketCap blog, where we compared a bunch of different blockchains, and we just realized that the most important thing here is not speed. It's not speed. We don't need to process 100,000 transactions per second. That's not the purpose of what we're doing. We need the security, we need the usability, and we need the widespread adoption. Because one of the most beautiful things about Ethereum is that it's everywhere. Sorry, when I said a 10 billion token, but I meant to say 1 billion tokens, or 10 billion tokens. Sorry, that was right. I was right before. Yeah. So how we're going to be launching the network initially is we're going to be working with different validators who you can see with us. So Stake with Us, Chorus One, a variety of different validators where people are going to stake their tokens too. So you're going to work with, so if you have CQT, you purchased during the public sale, or you purchased it on an exchange, you're going to have the ability to lock it up and earn CQT for the time being by going with some of these people as we work with them to launch the network. We're really excited with this because we've put a lot of thought into this. So I feel like that's a pretty good overview, and I'd love to hear some questions from community if there's anything people want to ask. Oh, there's already questions. So let's scroll down and see. Okay. So reduce max purchase option 1 to $500. This is something we're looking at, something we're considering. I think we may actually reduce some of these caps to get in. Obviously, there's no guarantee that anybody can get in to these sales. The coinless sales are really difficult to access. So it's sort of a lottery. I think once you're in, there are tiered amounts. But yeah, there's we're looking into that. With $1,000 max purchase, only 9,000 people can use Covalent. So there are actual other ways to earn CQT in this situation. You can go and you can join the Alchemist program, which is something we have. It's part of the community. So you can you can get involved, you can build things, you can help spread the word of Covalent, and you can actually earn CQT. So we're very proactive in ways to reward our community and turn everybody into a data scientist and everybody become more data fluent. So that's something we're really thinking about. How will validators redeem their CQT for USD? So it's sort of the opposite. The validators are getting CQT are getting paid in USD denominated amounts of CQT. It's however you would do a trade, however you would normally trade back to CQT or trade back to USDC or trade to Bitcoin or trade to anything else. That's really their business. I think for the most part, a lot of validators we've spoken to really don't have an interest of selling the token. Any more questions, guys? Questions. Ganesh, do you have any questions? Sorry, if one just came in. If CQT provides a share of the revenue, doesn't that mean CQT is a security token, not a utility token? What we've actually done was we thought long and hard about this, and we went to go speak with a couple of different lawyers who have experience in the crypto space. In the U.S., no lawyer will give you. In the U.S. and Canada, no lawyer will give you a letter saying if something is a security or not. But it was found that because of the nature of our token model and our infrastructure, from a couple of lawyers, that it is not deemed a security now. Ganesh, do you have any questions about the Covalent network?
I'm just giving a fake smile right now because every time someone takes a screenshot of this and posts on social media, I have like a grumpy face. So I'm smiling here so that I look good on social media. So that's my contribution. Okay, so let's talk about the different allocations: private sale, public sale, the private sale, number two, the public sale, and so on. One question I keep seeing is these unlock schedules and what's happening. The clock hasn't started for anyone. Like no one has access to tokens today because the token is not live. And all of the clocks start from TG. So that date hasn't been set yet. It's coming after the sale. We need to get a bunch of things settled on our side. So don't have to be concerned that if you're getting an unlock 6 months from now, it's not 6 months from when the sale happened, but it's 6 months from the TG. And so the seed investors have taken quite a bit of risk because this happened last summer, and they have already waited a year for the TG, and then they're going to be waiting for another 6 months because I believe the unlock is 6 months from TG for the seed allocation. So they're not, if the TG were to happen, let's say for number's sake, on the 6th month, which is July, then they would see the first unlock in January of next year. So that's a common question that I see.
Other question, do you have plans to limit the velocity of CQT if the market buy or deem CQT cycle too quick? The price of CQT may have no reason to appreciate. Great, that's a really good question. Thank you for that. I am also curious if you've seen our recent posts about Faye, Mr. Faye Saver. I'll share a link. We'll share a link after. Ganesh will share a link. Somebody will share a link. We've been looking at Faye a lot. So that's a really good question. Yes, so there are tiered unlocks. All of the coins will not be listed to the market immediately. Sort of to allude to Ganesh's previous point is that even the team, we don't have any tokens for a year. We're all working on this, and then so there's going to be a very tiered unlock that's going to come out. Part of this is why we're offering staking rewards, because there is a fixed cap of what we're doing. We're bootstrapping the network by just offering incentives for those early adopters to earn CQT before the network is fully live and fully realized. So yeah, this is something we are looking at, and to answer the question, so to finally answer the question, is that no, it will not be all distributed immediately. It will be a tiered unlock progressively over months, over a multi-month period, over a couple of years. You should check this out though. This is pretty cool. The alpha alarm here you can just look at all the face stuff. It's really interesting. I did the figures really cool. Yeah. There you go. Welcome to the community. Where that's awesome. These alpha alarms, the alpha alarms are working. It's cool. People are excited. Any other questions?
There's another question about the early contributor reward, which is a small text in the sales page. So that allocation is meant and reserved for people who've supported Covalent before there was a token, before there was anything of that sort. So this includes people who have participated in our hackathons. We've run the Dungeon data twice so far. The 1 million wallets, I believe we've run it thrice, and other hackathons we've participated, like NFT hacks and so on. So that is what it's meant for, people who've contributed to the ecosystem, but didn't know there was a sale, didn't know there was a token, anything of that sort. So that is what it's meant for.
Do I have any questions? I guess some of the other questions, which might I don't think we've gone over. So governance. So we are the Covalent token, as well as having a token model behind it, is going to be used for governance. So we're going to vote on proposals to change the parameters, such as new data sources, specific geolocations, data modeling requirements. This is something we're really thinking about long and hard. We're really incentivized to have people be part of the community and feel like they're being involved in the community. And to that regard, we're also looking of ways for the network to for token holders, find other ways for the community to be appreciated and other ways for the community members to win. So by holding CQT, other ways to earn tokens and do things like that. So we have a few ideas in mind. Stay tuned. They'll be coming out in the near future. How does Covalent differ from GRT? Ganesh, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so there are two questions here, right? How is Covalent, the product, different from the graph, the product, and how is CQT, the token, different from GRT, the token? So let's touch upon both questions, and they're both valid questions. So CQT versus GRT, high level, I'm just thinking out loud here. GRT is live. It's been in the market for a couple of months now. CQT is not live. GRT is a payment token. From my understanding, you need to use GRT to pay for the graph services, which hasn't happened yet. They're not monetizing the product just yet. Covalent CQT is not a payment token. Customers pay using stable coins. I think in GRT you get staking rewards even for unlocked tokens. That's not the case in Covalent. Like if your tokens are locked, you won't earn staking rewards. So that's different. What else is different? Their supply cap is 10 billion, and then they have a yearly inflation of 2%, something around 2% per year. CQT is a fixed supply, and we've allocated 8% pre-mined, which is 2% allocated towards staking rewards. So it kind of acts like an inflation, but not really. If we burn that, it becomes a deflationary token. So that's a little bit different. What else is different? High level, I can't think of anything else. It's just they're both standard ERC20 contracts, so they're all composable and so on. With the product itself, their products are completely different. The architecture is completely different. The network is completely different. The core differences in the philosophy, please look at my video from yesterday. I touch upon this on every single call. The graph, you need to sit down and write a subgraph, which requires a sophisticated engineer to build these subgraphs. And then the subgraphs are built to answer one specific question. And then you can then query that built indexed subgraph using GraphQL. In the case of Covalent, what we've done is we've made an exact replica of the target blockchain. So we have the Covalent database has every single balance, every single position, every single transaction, every single log event, every single storage slot right from the Ethereum blockchain, Binance Smart Chain, Matic, Polygon, Avalanche, Phantom, and dozens of other blockchains. And then on top of that, you can ask questions using transformations. So there's some questions like, give me a list of the ERC20 contracts in my wallet. This is a question that Covalent can answer in a few hundred milliseconds. The graph can never answer that question because the graph doesn't have a holistic view of the entire blockchain, because there are 200,000 ERC20 contracts across the blockchain, and you could have a balance, a non-zero balance anywhere in any of those contracts.
Yeah, to add to one last point, or a metaphor that we like to use is think of a subgraph like an individual Excel file. So where you have to set it up, organize all the cells, organize all the rows, spend a fair amount of time, as much time for as much data as you need to capture. Save it on your desktop, and let's say you call it balancer, right? You call that balancer. So if something changes or the data scheme that you need changes, you need to go back and you need to redo all of this again. Now let's say you want to make another subgraph, and let's say you go through the exact same process to set up data capture models, however you'd like to do it in this Excel file, and then you save it to your desktop, and now let's say we call this one Decentraland. These two Excel files never speak to each other, right? They just coexist in the same place, and they're both using the same program to write their to organize their data, but they're completely and totally separate. They're individual silos. That's how the graph works. Covalent is like one giant Excel sheet that just captures billions of columns and billions of rows of data, and you're just looking at those rows and columns to find out what you want. So a Control F or something like that, or you just query whatever you're looking for. If you need something more granular, you create pivot tables, which is more akin to our class B endpoints on Covalent, which are currently managed by Covalent, but at some point in the near future are going to be outsourced to the community to build. We'll build something called class C endpoints, which are community-owned, community-made. What would lead to the token burning?
I can take this.
Yeah, please. I'm actually curious.
So token burning. Now, this is a very tight line that we have to walk, because every single mechanism that we build in has to go through legal in terms of not making a security. But there are potential avenues, and this is just from our experience with other tokens. So this exchange mechanism here, where you have the stablecoin being converted to the CQT through a market buy mechanism, there we can burn a percentage of the fee and lead to a deflationary model. The staking rewards, 8% of the supply is dedicated towards staking rewards over the next 4 years. If you find that the network has been bootstrapped and the network, the validators and these guys don't really need, there is. Erik is an actual person.
Yeah.
So if you find that the staking rewards is not needed, the network is bootstrapped, the transaction fees have picked up, and we don't need this inflation style, it's not inflation, but inflation style rewards, then we'll just burn them. I think that makes more sense. So those are some examples of token burning. And of course, besides that, other projects do the buyback and burn, which is very common in the stock market as well. We don't really have plans to do that. But as the velocity picks up, as the conversion picks up, we'll see that automatically restricting supply.
I have a question actually that came up. Yeah. It came up yesterday. So would there be an event that there would ever be a token split, and how would that occur? Because I know Polkadot did one early on. Somebody asked me this question.
I think the multi-chain thing is right on the horizon. Like, a lot of people are not prepared for this. So CQT will be on BSC, will be on Phantom, will be on Avalanche, and that's a split because total supply has to be fixed. But you have to have liquidity provision on these different blockchains. They're all going to be silos. So I think that is an equivalent of a split.
Got it. Can you share the roadmap details? Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a couple of different roadmaps here. From I'll talk about a couple of them, and Ganesh can talk about a couple of them. So from a business roadmap, we're obviously looking to add more value from different blockchains. We're long on blockchains that we believe in. Our goal is, to work with all of them, but it's just a matter of who has the most traction and what is worth our time. So, there's opportunity cost to do everything. So we want to make sure that as we go into some of these ecosystems, we can provide the most value. That's how we're working with other blockchains. In regards to other protocols, we're very receptive to how people are using our product. People who are using other services are obviously coming to us, and we're refining the product to make it better. It's something we think about. We spend a lot of time thinking about. So, which is why we're looking to roll out other things. Like I mentioned just previously, Class C endpoints, which are going to be community-owned, community-made. That's something we're heavily investing in to get our community more involved. In regards to that, so there's that. We're obviously looking to expand. We believe that by adding this, it's going to expedite the rate which people can use the products, because it'll make data much more available. In regards to network, we're currently building the network. We have some things coming very, very shortly, which are very exciting. We're really excited to announce this, and we're going to be progressively decentralizing the network. We're distributing decentralizing the network over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. While we're doing this, we're also big into education. So educating people in our ecosystem, bringing in new partners, educating the market on data fluency. I think, personal opinion, the crypto is in the very early days. If crypto is the next internet, I think we just hit Windows 95. I think we're really early in this cycle. So I think there's still a lot of education, a lot of things to do. And part of that is, to be there and just build a great product that helps transfer people over from Web 2 to Web 3. Because that's what Covalent really is at the end of the day. We've taken something old, which is SQL, and something new, which is crypto data, and just blended it together. And as we're starting to see now with some of large enterprises and large organizations, is that they're coming slowly, but they're definitely much more receptive and interested than they were before. So we've really got to be prepared for when that happens. And as people start dipping their toe in the water, what this looks like, when everybody jumps in the pool at the same time. Ganesh, did I miss anything else for that question?
Yeah, so there's usually a financing roadmap. So I guess that's really, it's all public. There's no further financing after this planned. Product roadmap, pretty good job there. Token roadmap, we'll be adding more and more liquid, features to the token and getting it listed on more and more exchanges. It's just a matter of time as we get bigger and bigger and bigger. In terms of partnerships, so we're a little different. We don't really do these fluff partnerships because you have an actual live product with 100 plus customers. So we only do partnership announcements for people who are actually using the product. So our customers are our partners. Validators, mainnet launch. So I'll tell you how serious we are about the mainnet launch. The trailer is being built right now. So you heard it here first. So that's how serious we are. So the announcement is being built. Okay.
What would be the purpose of CQT on other chains besides validating, I assume? I think it'll just get, I think it'll just get passed around. I see tokens that are native to ERC20 projects or Ethereum-based projects that have crossed, like the Avalanche bridge. And I've seen them on Pangolin, and I thought that was really interesting. I mean, there's no real utility except for trading and speculating and doing other things. Maybe we'll figure something out. I truthfully don't have an answer, but that's a good question. I think it depends what the market goes and how things.
It's very simple. Like people want to trade CQT on BSC,
yeah,
right? They want to use PancakeSwap. Then how would they get exposure to CQT? Because CQT is an ERC, you could compose it with other products. If we want to provide liquidity on Binance Smart Chain for whatever reason, then we should be doing that. And then right now, there's no way for CQT to be to go on BSC without it being a synthetic, without it being a taxable event. So there's that. That's just the core reason.
What are the main programming languages? Well, our backend is built in SQL. We're building a query language right now, which is going to be launched soon, called Primer. I don't know if I gave anything away or just spoiled it. That's the name. It's a good name. It's MongoDB. The reason is a MongoDB, the base language. The reason why we're using these two languages is they're universal. They've been around forever. MongoDB. There are more people that know MongoDB than any other a database language, or backend language. It's just that's it. They just have staying power. There's a lot of people who know them. They're widespread. They're easy for people to learn. They're very familiar. So that's how we've just designed it so far. Ganesh can speak to the rest of the stack.
Yeah, so our actual data pipeline is written in a language called Elixir, which is on the Erlang programming language. And Erlang was invented at Ericsson because they have these multi-threaded telecom calls. It's really meant for that multiplexing feature. So right now we have this single thing that is multiplexing across dozens of blockchains that we support. And all of these different blockchains have different latencies, different block times, different block sizes, like everything is completely different. But this single engine is just like round robin and then pulling in all the data and then pushing it through a data pipeline. So that system is built in Elixir. And then Postgres is our core database. We've modified Postgres pretty heavily. So Postgres is written in C. And then we have the Java is what supports the API. So the API is there's nothing more to the API. It's a very simple API. It's a simple REST API. So we don't use any framework like Spring Data or anything of that sort. It's just a very simple Java API. We don't really have a front end. We don't have anything else besides that. So it's a very simple stack. The network itself has a bunch of Solidity smart contracts, and it has an extension of the Go Ethereum node. So that's in Go. So that's about it. 19.1% reserve, tell us more. So it's purely meant for future fundraisers. So that's what that allocation is for. If you compare Covalent with other projects with the same level of traction, they've all raised like 4, 5, 6, 7 times. We're actually probably the smallest coinless sale in the history of CoinList, right? And so we've been very careful. We've been very scrappy. I believe overfunding is a big problem in this space. You look at the 2017 era projects like Ocean Protocol, Enigma, whatever they're called these days. But where's the product? Where's the customer? Where are the customers? Where's the traction? There's not a lot.
It's just, I find it interesting. So we're in Canada, or Ganesh and I are in Canada, and there's a couple of Canadian exchanges. One of them raised, I think, like $80 million in 2018, and one of them raised $800,000. And the one that raised $800,000 has a very large chunk of the Canadian market. And it's just, and I know them both personally, so it's just interesting to see the approaches. One went on a hiring spree, thought things would happen, but you really can't change the market. You really have to work diligently and work hard and be thoughtful about how you operate, opposed to just deploying a lot of capital, because having a lot of capital doesn't necessarily get you anywhere. Why did you choose CoinList as a public sale platform? So, funny enough, when we started the conversations, there was really, I think there were just two. There was CoinList, and there was so Consensus is a customer, and we still powered Consensus security token platform. So that's where scale happened. Those were really the only conversations we're having. And we're also talking to Binance, so Binance Launchpad. But
compliant. There was always Polkastarter, DAO, Maker, and all these things. But from a compliance standpoint, these are two legit platforms.
That's exactly it. So we're familiar with all of them. Obviously, Polkastarter is a customer of ours. There's a lot of.
So is DAO Maker.
DAO Maker is it's true. DAO Maker is a customer of ours also. They both use our product. It was less about the relationship, and we like them. They're great, but it was more about the compliance. And then I don't think those products were as live or as vibrant now as they were now. We started these negotiations months ago. So I think we're obviously really happy with where we are. The CoinList people are fantastic. If you look at the track record of companies that have gone there, there's a lot of phenomenal companies there. So yeah, we're really excited about this and how this has worked out. Why did you choose? All right, understands that. When and where and when can we stake CQT? Ganesh, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so there's two incentive programs we're launching with. One is the network staking, so you can delegate it to a validator, and they are running a portion of the network. So that's one option. The second option is you can provide liquidity to one of these dexes like 1inch or SushiSwap or Balancer or Uniswap, and then you could take that LP tokens and then put it into Covalent staking contracts and get an additional yield. So this is a way for to get community involvement in these liquidity pools. Of course, the initial set of liquidity pools is going to be deployed by Covalent so that we don't have scams and stuff of that nature. So these are the two incentive programs that we're starting out with. So hope that answers that question.
Where and when can I get CQT? You'll be able to get it on CoinList is obviously the next stop. Beyond that, it'll be an exchange. We're still looking at this in detail right now and being debated. And then it'll be obviously on because we are in ERC20, it'll be on a couple of dexes that we're going to be launching with. From the question section, what are the points where Covalent competes with Chainlink? I don't think we really compete with Chainlink.
There's actually a really cool analogy. We're the opposite of Chainlink. So Chainlink brings external data to the blockchain, and Covalent brings blockchain data to external parties. So it's a great complementary service. Will validator program be open for the community? Yes, this is part of our progressive decentralization story. As part of our strategic round, which we closed earlier this year, we brought on 4 professional validators: Anchor, Chorus One, Figment, and Stake with Us, which is based out of Singapore. So the reason we need these professionals is the network is, getting it up and running. We need like a SWAT team. Really, that's what it is. It's a squad that we've put together to take this to run. But the idea is that with time, which is actually sooner than later, anyone can go download a Docker image and then run the validator. All they need to do is put up a CQT stake, because it's a proof of stake system. That is the vision that we're working towards, because that's the only way the system will scale. If you just have 4 validators, that's not enough. What is the function of the reserve? We have already answered this question. Oh, there's also a questions tab here. I didn't realize this.
Is there?
Yeah, yeah. So what points does Covalent compete with Chainlink? I answered that. We don't compete. Where can we stake Covalent token? I answered that. There are two incentive programs. One is the liquidity provision. One is the network security. So these are the 2 staking programs. What is the function of reserves? Answer this. TG date unknown at this point. Any plan to launch on Binance later or Wazir X? I believe they're the same. Wazir was acquired by Binance recently, if I remember correctly. They're the biggest Binance offshoot in India.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? They're for their AMM, they've started to use Covalent, so that's pretty interesting.
That's
But yeah, with time, not gonna. It's not my story to tell. So,
any plans to include Solana? So
great question.
This is a great question. So we are all personally very, very, very big fans of Solana. If they see this, they'll know we have nothing but good things to say. We've actually had this discussion, I don't know how many times. We're long on the project. We're believers. We're advocates. We think it's excellent. We sing their praises. Solana is a very, very, very difficult piece of infrastructure, and it's not like anything else that exists. I don't know if you've heard of the 10,000 hour theory, or 10,000 hours to become a master at something, but we've really done the 10,000 hours in the EVM world. So any blockchain that is EVM compatible is much less heavy lifting for us. We've really figured it out. Because it's very little heavy lifting for us, it's very little heavy lifting for our customers. Solana is a whole other architecture. It's a whole other way of thinking. It's a whole other way of working. The blockchain times are they're like in the milliseconds. It's crazy. The blockchain for the milliseconds, it's crazy. It's super fast. It's very impressive what they've built. But because of anything new and anything different, it's just very difficult to index and to provide value on, right? I mean, to think about to make a comparison is think about every EVM chain is like, maybe the best example is like building on an Android app, right? Like it just makes it really easy to use. And then Solana has come along and is like BlackBerry. Maybe BlackBerry's not the best example here because BlackBerry obviously in the market, but it's just a very different way of thinking and a very different approach. So we'd love to get to it. If somebody in here is looking for a job and understands Solana very in-depthly and wants to help with that, we'll send us your resume. Hope I will get a question. I hope you do too. By the way, it's nice to attend the live event and live answers. Hey, Sandeep, we're very happy to have you. Thank you for taking the time. How about Zinfin? I'm not familiar with Zinfin. What's Zinfin? You know what Zinfin is?
No.
Let's look at the Google machine. Zinfin.org. Global Overflow's hybrid blockchain protocol platform with independent community. Interesting. I mean, maybe anything's possible. I didn't know this existed up until this exact moment. So anything is possible. We'll not say yes or say no. How we generally look at a lot about these blockchains is we want to see, you need traction. I think traction is the most important thing. I mean, we can index a blockchain, we can provide all the data, but if nobody needs it and nobody wants it, then there's no point of us doing the work. So we're really trying to think about that. So basically, because every time you see a new blockchain or a new logo on Covalent's website, it's something we've put thought into it, something we've really thought through, and we know that there's signals of traction that are happening there. And if they're not immediate signals of traction, then we're long on the project and we know it's coming. I think Solana is a great example here where we're very long, we're very excited, we just don't have the time to do it, don't have the resources.
We're coming up on time, so we'll take up this last question. So I'll go first. Personal background. So I'm a physicist by training, worked in cancer research for half my career, and then pivoted to the big data space about a decade ago. Started Covalent 3 years ago because they found this opportunity in the gap in the data. Data is my area of expertise, so Covalent, as far as I can control it, will never do like financial loans or will never build like DeFi or any of that stuff. Of course, the network itself is a financial product. Our expertise is in data, and we'll stick to that. It's a massive opportunity. Look at Snowflake in the traditional world, a $200 billion market cap. So we'll continue to stick to our roots. Another fact I'm very proud of is that I actually have the least amount of experience in the crypto world on the team. So everyone from Erik to Harish to Prateek, these are all like crypto OGs. So I'm learning a lot. If I interviewed at Covalent today, I probably won't get a job. So proud of that fact that you're supported by superstars. I'll leave it to to Erik now.
Yeah, you might get a job. We might let you in. I mean, you do okay. You do some good work. My background is I got into crypto by accident. I used to have a music software company, and I needed to solve a royalty accounting problem. And somebody said, "Why don't you just?" Somebody here was building. I think they were one of the first blockchain companies to go public, and he was saying, "Why don't you just build this on a blockchain?" And I said, "What the hell's a blockchain?" And he said, "Oh, Bitcoin's built on a blockchain." So, ergo rabbit hole, learning about crypto and learning about Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin, sat on it for a while. Turned out to be, who would have thought this Bitcoin thing was going to go somewhere? Joking, but yeah, I bought it, sat on it, and then obviously, when you open your wallet and you start seeing what's happening, you start to get a little more interested in the market. During that time, before I got more into crypto, so I got really into crypto in 2018, when the end of the bull market, beginning of the bear market. So like end of 2017, early 2018, started paying more attention. I did music, I did tech. I worked for a big Chinese company called IGG, where I managed a couple of different portfolio companies. I worked for a company called Best Buy, which is in Canada. So for Canada and the US, are a very large marketplace for online and physical presence for electronics as a product manager. Worked at a company that did not Fortune, worked with C-level executives, so to do financing and like government tax credit financing and stuff like that. So it was a good job. It was a lot of fun. Did that, and then obviously did a couple other projects in the crypto space. We built something funny enough exactly like PokeStarter. I still have all the code, and I was looking at it a little while ago. But yeah, it was just too soon to the market. And I think the market just wasn't ready for what was happening. So that's me. Thank you all for taking the time. The TGE date. Well, the CoinList date is happening next. The CoinList sale is happening next week. The TGE itself, the listing is TBD. No firm date as of yet. But let's just say 2021. 2021, I think, is a fair bet.
Cool, guys. Thanks all, and we'll see you at the next event. We have lots of these things, informal chats, and you can call them fireside chat, but there's no fireplace here. But
we can get one. We'll get a background or something. We'll get like a third camera that will pause, and it'll just be a fireplace. We'll put it right in the middle.
There are actually YouTube videos that have like 10-hour long fireplace, and you can actually Google fireplace videos, and there's like a 10-hour long video, so you can just stream that maybe.
I use them all the time in the winter. Just put it on the TV, let it go, turn up the volume, and walk around. It's great.
All right, cheers, guys. Take care. Bye.